Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications as I'm sharing every really great content for you. Alright, in this video we will continue where we left in our dynamic authorization. Alright, let's continue with our next controller. I'm going to add a new controller, which is going to be domain controller. Okie dokie. In this controller, basically, okay, let's start adding our dependencies. Private read only I domain service, and also we will need our roles. This controller will be a little bit tricky if we compare with the previous one. Generic service, role list view model, role create view model, role update view model, and role service. Let's generate constructor. Let's add this parameter here. Perfect. All right. First of all, let's add our listing for just for roles. Get all list by role. If you remember beginning of the previous lesson, I tried to add something, but I told you we need to wait until domain controller. Now I'm going to finish this. Var domain list domain services dot get all. Actually, I need to create a service, I guess, for this one. Let me think for a second. So we're going to, I guess, I'm just thinking. Yeah, let's go to our domain service. It is going to be much more best practice. I don't want to make things with low quality. Okay, so let's create a method public list domain list view model. Let's give a name, get all domains by role ID. All right, so in this method requires a role ID. Oops, sorry. Basically, we're going to go, I'm going to use my service methods get all items. It comes my generic service. I'm not using generic repository. I'm already using generic service as a inherited class. So all I need to use it. Where role ID must be equal role ID and to list. Perfect. Return domain list. Let's use this method in our controller, but before that I'm going to add this signature to my interface. Let's use it, get all domains by role ID, and we need a role ID, obviously. Oops. Perfect. Let's give domain list here. Okay, let me think a little bit. Get all list Okay, I'm just thinking. Yep, it's better, I guess. Okay, let's create a view. Then I'm going to add a button to our role list page to make connection between these two page. All right, I'm just gonna copy and paste. Okay. Um, Actually, I'm not gonna use these sections because I was trying to manipulate action um our controllers, but it won't be necessary. I'm going to use another method, so it is going to be enough. Let's see, is it added? The namespace is added. Let's close it and open again. Yep, let's add the namespace. Let's go to View Imports. Save it. Perfect. This is just name. Okay, I'm gonna add a button to the role section. Get all roles. Yep. Now, if you remember this section, now I'm adding this domain. Let's get the action name. So I'm going to send root ID as a role ID, and I'm going to send, so this is role list view model. Okay, we have ID, and this is warning danger. Let's say primary. And so all I need to receive, oh, okay, so what we are receiving here, domain list, right? And controller names. Let's say controllers. Okay, let's run the application. Now it is going to be empty because we didn't add anything. Uh, End of the lesson, I will show you what we've done. Role list. Okay, once we add controllers, we able to see the controllers connected to this role. So admin, for example, added to product and category, we're able to see product and category for admin roles. Okay, so we add here roles domain. We can add it here, add role admin. Yeah, let's change this. The name is roles, right? So how can we add the role name here? I'm just thinking roles ID manipulate. I'm just thinking. Just leave it. I'm not gonna waste my time with the front end. Let's continue with our next um, domain control next method. Okay, let me think a second. So we brought our domain list using by role. Now let's use controller name. Actually, controller name ID maybe. Okay, let's create a new action result. Get all domains by controller name ID. Okay. Um, Now in this section, I'm going to use controller. Where's our vModels? Controller. Not you. controller params vModel. Okay. Controller params vModel. Let's say request. Or this time I'm going to use model. Because we're not requesting, we're going to use these parameters to run our application smoothly. Okay, let's brought our domain list var domain list with roles. I'm gonna should I add the roles? Yes, let's add the roles as well. Okay, domain service dot. Actually, I need to create another service because it is going to need lots of code written. I'm just thinking, is there any other way? Actually, there is not too much code, but it is going to be best practice using services. Let's go back our service. It's my service. Okay. Domain service, domain service. Let's copy this section quickly. Let's say get all domains by control statements. Let's use the same one, I guess. Should I use the same one? Yes. Get all domains by controller name ID, and we need a controller ID for this section. Our domain list. Should I use? I'm just thinking. Actually, I'm gonna use get all items again. This time, all I need to use controller name ID instead of role ID. Okay, let's put this signature on our interface. Let's get back our controllers. Okay, all we need to do is we're going to give model. Let's select just properties, controller ID, right? The ID, controller name. What is the ID for? It must be the controller. I'm just thinking. Definitely, this is controller ID, but I'm just trying to remember what is the ID for. Okay, probably the ID is just for update section. Okay, we will see. Return view. Now this is a bit tricky. Okay, so we're going to list domain list, right? But now I'm going to send domain list. Normally we send domain list vModel, right? But this is domain list vModel. But this time I'm going to send domain list with parameters vModel. And this going to have domain list as well. So domain list going to be domain list with roles. Okay, controller parameters will be model. Yeah. So I'm receiving this model, I'm using it, and I'm passing this for another vModel. Is everything all right? By the way, did we add our roles as well? Let me go back. Okay, while I was checking, I'm gonna check if it's everything okay. Anything else? We add controllers by controller name ID. Okay, now I'm gonna create this V model. I'm waiting my application to create a CSHTML file for me. Okay, actually, I'm gonna copy and paste again. Get all domains by controller. Get all. Okay, just a second. I'm gonna copy one by one. Okay, this is what I'm requiring. Let's add this. Why it's happening all the time? Why I couldn't add my namespace here? Let's close the page, open again. Um, no, it's not working. It's weird. Domain list with params. Yeah, this is the correct one. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna add the rest of the codes here. Okay, so we have another table. Basically, we're going to list our role names and the buttons for manipulate them. And these buttons have a lot of parameters carrying for another pages. Okay, we have basically edit, delete, and add buttons here. And also I put a go back button here. Uh, to show you the controller name and send the ID of my current controller and the controller name, I all add those things in my, let me show you, control parameters v model. Instead of typing three different parameters, I just put them all in one v model, and I'm just using this one. Okay, we're going to try all of them, do not worry about it. Okay, let's go to view. Let's check all parameters if everything is correct. For edit and delete, I'm gonna check them later because we are not using it, and I'm not gonna I didn't create add as well, so we're going to check this three button later. Let's check the back first. Controller name, get controller list. Let's check the action method, which is correct or not. Controller, get controller list. Where is it? Get all controller list. Okay, let's go back. This is get all controller list. Okay, let's run the application and let's see the results. By the way, did we? Okay, we didn't, no, we didn't add the links between these two. Let's go back the controller list view model. Okay, the controller is domain. Okay, this is our action. Let's go back our action. Get all domains by controller name ID. Let's go back. Let's paste it. Perfect. So we are sending the ID of controllers. What is this control name? We just leave it like this. Name. Okay, we're going to get error messages. Okay, let's run the application. Controller list. Okay, let's put a breakpoint and see everything step by step here. Where is my this is domain. Okay, get all list by role. Let's click this one. Okay, let's click domain list. Once we click this one, We reset everything. Let's have a look. Our model. As you can see, controller ID is 1. Controller name is admin, but the ID is 0. I don't remember why I put this ID, but I'm going to figure it out a bit later. Just continue as it is, and let's run the application. Let's continue. As you can see, we have admin section. Be able to see our role names assigned to this admin controller, and we able to manipulate them. Let's go back. We are here again. Perfect. It is working. Let's continue with the next action method. Let me check my pre-lesson notes. Okay, let's continue at domain role. Step by step, we're going to start add roles to our controllers. Public I action result. Add domain role to controller. Add domain role to controller. I'm gonna send this parameter again. Alright, this is going to be HTTP GET section, and we will build the post section as well. Let's copy and paste HTTP post, and this one domain create vModel, and this is going to be request now. Perfect. Let's start building our HTTP GET section first. Okay, so we need to add our roles, right? Because we need to add drop down, and we need to select how many roles we have, and we need to add them. Okay, var role list role service get all items to list. Perfect. Return view. I'm going to send new domain create vModel, and as you can see, normally we need to add role ID and controller name ID, these two, but controller name for title and roles just for data transfer objects. So let's add the roles first. Role list. Okay, now I'm going to add controller name ID, and it is come from my model controller name, right? I think must be correct. Let me check. Should I I'm just thinking, I guess actually I need the ID instead of controller name. Okay, controller ID, because I need to assign my controller ID. Model dot controller ID. If it's needed, I can send a controller name as well. Let's use it like this, and we will see what's gonna happen next. All right, right click on it, add view. While creating, I'm gonna check my files. Okay, add domain role to controller, right? Okay, perfect. Add domain role to controller. Let's copy and paste. Perfect. I copy and paste what I have in my hand previously. Domain create vModel. This is our model. This is our action. Add domain role to controller. Let's check. Let's close this unnecessary things. Okay, add domain role to controller. Perfect. Controller is domain, method is going to be post, and we're going to send controller name ID as a hidden, but I guess we didn't add it yet. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back at our why I couldn't edit controller params. No, not you, sorry, it's my fault. For title, model dot controller name. Let's put it down. Oops. Let's go back. Okay, so we have a controller name ID and we have a controller name. Okay, controller name is going to send as a query string, but controller name ID will be sent as a model. So this is our drop down for role ID section. I added model roles and that's all, I guess. Okay, let's save everything and let's see the results. Um, Controller list. Let's go to admin, add domain role. As you can see, admin, member, and public has been added. If we click add, it must be add to our database. Let's put a breakpoint here. We didn't create our post method yet, but let's see if it's going to work or not. Here we go. This is our request. Controller name ID, role ID has been added, which is these two is enough to create new one. Alright, so we don't need roles and we don't need control name for title to create new one. Okay, let's stop the application now and let's type our post method. Okay, for the post method, guys, let's go step by step and slowly to not confuse you. Let's call our domain service. I'm going to use base methods, comes from generic service, create item request, and we need to use redirect to action, return redirect to action to controller name. Which one? The domain. Yeah, this action method we need to go back. Let's add our controller name. It is domain, and this is the tricky part. This action method requires a controller params vmodel as a parameter, right? So we need to send some data to able to open this action method. Okay, let's say new as an anonymous parameter to send anonymous parameter. First of all, I'm going to let me think a little bit. I need to send a controller ID. Controller ID, which is going to be request dot controller name ID. Yeah, the second parameter is controller name. Controller name, which is going to be request dot controller name for title. Must be all right. Okay, let's run the application and see Is it going to work or not? Hopefully it is going to work now. All right, let's go to controller list. Let's go admin, add role. Okay, let's click admin. We sent the data. Actually, we couldn't send the name for title. This is weird. This is a bit weird. Okay, I guess that's because we sent our controller name as a query string. Let's change this ASP4 controller name for title. It will be, I guess this time it will be work. Let's try again. Controller list. Let's edit. Yeah, controller name for title. It's been sent it. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna put another breakpoint here because this is our redirection. Let's continue. Here we go. Data is saved. Let's check is it saved or not. Domains. As you can see, controller name ID1, role ID1. It is saved. Perfect. Now let's check our parameters. As you can see, controller ID1, controller name is admin, has been binded. Perfect. Let's continue. We got a problem here. Mapper source cannot be null. There is a problem in listing side, I guess. Okay, let's go back. There's a problem on listing section after. No, there is a problem in listing section. Okay, I'm gonna put a breakpoint here and let's see what the problem is. Domain service, domain controller. Okay, we already have one. Let's go back, click again. Okay, let's go step by step. Let's go here quickly. Is everything all right? We have one domain ID, role ID, controller name and role is null. It is weird. Controller name and role is weird. Okay, let's continue. So we have source type, source, destination type, depth. Okay, is it collection? Yep, it is a collection. Destination list created. First item is domain. Okay, let's continue. Is this a collection? Nope. Single unit mapper. Let's continue. Destination is here. Okie dokie. Source destination property ID. Source property ID. It is binded. This is controller name ID. This is controller name ID. Perfect. It is binded. Let's check. Yeah. The third one is controller name. Again, controller name. We're going down. Let's check. The source is null. This is the problem. Our source is null. Let's go back. Okay, so let's check our configurations, why it's not coming. This is in our domain config, right? So we added role and controller name normally. We forget to add auto include. That's why we're receiving this error. Maybe you saw this section, guys, but I couldn't see. Sorry for delay. Probably it is going to work now. By the way, in this, thanks to these errors, you're able to see how I'm fixing problems. Controller list. Let's stop these breakpoints. Domain list. Close it. Close all of them. Here we go. Admin is here. Let's add members. Here we go. Let's go back. Perfect. It is working smoothly. Let's continue where we left. Now I'm going to add update. I was thinking to finish in this series with 2 videos, but it might be I can add another video, but because this is going to be really, how can I say, it's going to take what I expected basically. Okay, let's continue the update one. HTTP get public I action result update domain role for controllers. Domain update. Actually, I need the parameters again. Controller params vmodel. And this is model. Alright, so in this section I'm going to create another service in our service section. Let's go to domain service again. Let's add what kind of service should I add? I'm just thinking just for a second. Okay, let's add public domain update vmodel get item. Normally we using it item by ID, but I'm using by model this time, and this model is going to be controller params vmodel. Let's say model again and try to add our data. Domain role get item by ID model dot ID. Yeah, this is why we using ID section. This is the ID of domain. I could have give a domain ID instead of ID, but it's up to you. I'm not gonna change it, but you can change it. Okay, let's add this domain role controller name ID model dot controller ID domain role dot controller name for title model controller name. Okay, let's return this value domain role. Okay, so with this action we are keeping our controller much more clean basically. Let's go back our, where's our controllers? Yeah, okay, all we need to do is, guys, let me check, is everything all right? Yeah, var domain role domain service that get but we forget add our, so I always forgetting this. We need to add this as a signature in our interface, then we're able to use it. Okie dokie. Let's go back. Okay. Get item by model. Uh, Anything else? I'm just thinking. Okay, all we need to do add our role list, right? Let's add our role list. Role service. Get all items to list. Let's add it as well. Domain role, roles, role list. Return view, domain role. It's all done. Get section is completed. Let's start with the post as well. I'm just copy from here. Instead of controller, domain update view model. This time I'm using request. Control KD. Perfect. Domain service update item request and return. Let's copy directly this one. I'm going to use same link. Let's check it just for a second. Controller ID, controller name ID. Yep, request controller name for the perfect. It seems all good. Let's create our view. Just copy and paste again one more time for all HTML codes. Okay, domain update view model. Let's check update domain role for controller. Alright, controller domain method post, controller name ID. Okay, this is wrong again. Uh, let's use ASP4. Controller name for title. Value is going to be controller name for title. Perfect. This is role ID. Seems everything alright. Let's change it. Update. Save it. Let's go back our list method first. Let's check now. Edit section. Update domain role for controller domain. Yep. Controller name, controller ID, and ID. For ID we send ID. For controller ID we send controller ID. Controller name we send controller name. It must work. Let's run the application. Let's try to see. Try to update our admin. Okay. So we have admin. Okay, let's go back. I'm gonna add another one for authenticate. Let's add an admin. We are in authenticate. Let's click edit. Admin has been selected. Let's click member. Let's update it. Perfect. It is working. Let's click edit again. Member here. Perfect. It is working. Now let's create the delete method. And finally we can finalize our domain controller, which is very big one. Where is my domain controller? Okay. Public I action result. Remove domain role. Where is my R? Remove domain role from controller. Controller Let's add our parameter again. Model. All we need to do is calling domain service, delete item model.id, and we're going to return again. This time I'm using model instead of request. Okay. Why we get error message? Okay, it's weird. This is my model, so my model has the controller name. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's get back our list section. Where is my list? Okay, let's check, is that working? Controller domain, remove domain role from controller. Controller name is this one. Controller ID is controller ID. ID is ID. Yep, perfect. Seems okay. Let's run the app and try to delete a couple of data to see if it's working or not. By the way, before that one, I'm gonna show you role list. I told you once we click controllers, we're able to see how many is assigned for members. As you can see, these are how it's working. Okay, let's go back controller list. I'm gonna delete. Perfect. Let's delete these two as well. All working. Let's log out and close application. It seems we finalized domain controller as well. Alright, I'm going to finish this lesson here because it's already been more than 45 minutes. I was planning to finish this 2 lesson in 1 lesson, but it became already 3 lesson. Next video we're going to add our dynamic authentication attributes, and this is going to be the final step of what I'm doing. So in this section, actually, since this section you will understand everything what I show you, and it is going to be perfect and very dynamic authorization system in your project. You can use everywhere in your every project to make it very dynamic one. Alright guys, see you on next lesson. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to like the video and turn on notifications. I'm here always for you. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.